On this Monday night, smoldering anger on the streets of Brazil after an inferno rips through a beloved museum. Tens of thousands of years of history, millions of irreplaceable artifacts destroyed. Why some are saying this is the government's fault. How austerity in Brazil is stoking the tensions.
Also tonight, kids are heading back to school, but teachers are in short supply. What the crunch means for the classroom.
And Putin in prime time. What's behind the Russian president's reality TV debut? This is The National. Brazilians tonight are livid, angry about a fire that didn't take any lives, but instead destroyed history. There were no sprinklers and very little water from the hydrants when firefighters arrived at the National Museum in Rio de Janeiro late last night. As Katie Nicholson explains, the rage in Rio today is that this was a disaster so many saw coming.
Not just a building up in smoke, but entire histories too. It took 200 years for Brazil's National Museum to collect its treasures and one night for it all to go up in flames. And with it, the work of hundreds of researchers, some who ran to try and save what they could. It seems like a nightmare, says historian Regina Dantas. I went to sleep thinking it was a nightmare, that I was going to wake up from it. Her nightmare very much a reality this morning. Where once there were 20 million artifacts, today, only rubble.
It's the most important scientific institution, I think in Brazil, in all Brazil.
Paleontology researcher Roberta Veronese says she can't begin to estimate the loss. The museum housed impressive and irreplaceable Egyptian and Greco-Roman collections. It had also recently added restored pieces from another infamous inferno, Pompeii. But in this modern era, there is technology to prevent fire. And yet, the museum didn't have the funding to install sprinklers, a fact that angers anthropologist Luis Fernando Dias Duarte, who lost his entire library in the blaze.
I am sure the national government is responsible because they did not approve of the funding. We have permanently asked for the maintenance of the structure of the museum.
Anger at the government spilled over today. This time, not smoke, but pepper spray in the air, as some tried to push past the barricades to get a closer look at what had been lost. Sometimes loss is hard to describe.
It's a family. The museum is our home. We are happy there. You know, it's not a work, not a hard research. It's pure joy.
Today, a museum that brought so many together to learn about their past brought Brazilians together once again to fight for it. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
As you just heard, the museum was home to 20 million artifacts. While a full sense of the damage isn't known yet, here's a look at some of the treasures held within those walls. There's Louisa. At about 12,000 years old, hers is believed to be the oldest human skull found in the Americas. Then there are the mummified remains from Brazil and Egypt. The museum is also home to uniquely Brazilian creatures like the long-necked dinosaur Maxacallosaurus. 65,000 fossils had been gingerly cataloged at the museum, as were indigenous artifacts, even audio recordings from rare and disappearing indigenous languages from all over Brazil. And then there's this meteorite, at one point the largest ever discovered. Those tracking every loss, every development on Twitter suggest the meteorite may have survived, but historians are bracing for some devastating losses. Museums around the world now sending messages of support and, frankly, grief.
Here's what else we're working on tonight on The National. Russia's latest reality TV star, their president. Why critics are calling it propaganda.
Plus, Toronto struggles to come up with solutions to stop gun violence as 4 more lives are taken over the long weekend.
And tomorrow's back to school for most Canadian kids. And of course for teachers too, but for many school districts across the country, there just aren't enough of them to go around. The reasons vary from place to place. Jayla Bernstein takes a look at what's happening in Quebec.
Students are ready for the new year, backpacks loaded, brains rested. But the one school essential that's in short supply is the teachers.
We're all looking inside the same pool for the same teacher.
In Montreal, the student body is growing. While schools can add more spaces, adding teachers is proving more difficult.
Every year we have more and more children. Just this summer, there was 200 registration a week.
At the start of the school year, the province's largest school board was still searching to hire about 50 full-time teachers. Among those in high demand, French teachers for classes aimed at newcomers to Quebec.
If you're a master of the French language right now, I think you can pretty much go anywhere.
Any teacher that does speak French and that can speak French, they're like gold right now. I think everybody's looking for them as much as in other provinces.
School administrators say hiring has become increasingly competitive. They used to be the ones doing the interviewing, but now they say teachers interview them.
They never used to ask, what's the salary? Because that's a bit of a taboo subject. Plus, you don't want to come off as maybe that's the only reason you're there. They ask right away, what's your salary? What are your benefits?
Quebec is in the middle of an election campaign, and leaders of the two parties most likely to form the next government have promised to increase entry-level salaries.
We will take action to better prepare and equip teachers, better compensate teachers at the beginning of their careers, launch a campaign to recognize the value of the profession.
But even if salaries rise, school boards here face tough competition. Other provinces are also facing their own shortages of teachers, and they're eager to poach them wherever they're available. Jayla Bernstein, CBC News, Montreal.
And as we mentioned, there are different reasons in different parts of the country for teacher shortages. Let's start here in BC.
Our kids deserve better. They need to be back in school, and teachers deserve better.
BC teachers fought for 14 years to restore their right to negotiate class size, and in 2016, the Supreme Court of Canada sided with them and forced the province to spend more for hiring. But it's hard to catch up.
The difficulty we're having, though, is that there's not enough people who are certified and qualified in British Columbia.
Nunavut is grappling with a shortage of 66 teachers. That's nearly 10% of the typical workforce of 700. Despite high pay, it's hard to retain staff. In some communities, they're looking to hire locals who have experience working with children, even if they don't have teaching degrees. In New Brunswick, more than 200 teachers and principals are set to retire this year, and they'll need to be replaced, but fewer people are signing up for teacher training because of persistent rumors that there wouldn't be jobs. Ontario is not facing a shortage yet. 3 years ago, the province cut enrollment at teachers' colleges by more than half because work was hard to find. It still can be, but enrollment is rising and a wave of retirements is set to come crashing down. It has been a deadly weekend in the Greater Toronto Area, with gun violence taking 4 more lives, the latest yesterday afternoon in a busy downtown park. In Toronto alone, the murder count is 73 this year. That is 7 more than all of 2017, and it's just September. The question remains how to react to the problem. Here's the CBC's Jacqueline Hansen.
What was a memorial barbecue is now a crime scene. A celebration of life for shooting victim Kamal Hercules was interrupted by yet another shooting.
After a short conversation, our shooter pulled a handgun and fired multiple shots, striking Michael Lewis at close range.
He's one of 4 men killed in 3 separate shootings in the Toronto area this weekend. It has Toronto's mayor pushing again for a ban on handguns.
If it takes one gun out of one hand and results in 1 life saved or 1 less of these traumatic incidents, then to me that's something you've got to do.
But the head of Toronto's Police Association says a municipal ban would be useless.
What I want is meaningful, tangible acts that are going to have a real impact on people going out there, committing murder and using firearms in public places.
Places like Yorkdale Mall. A shooting there last week caused chaos, though no one was injured. Yesterday's shooting was across the street from the CNE, which attracts more than 1 million people to the area each year.
I come to this park quite a bit, and it was daylight out there.
It's becoming such a dangerous place.
In the wake of the Danforth shooting earlier this summer, Toronto put 200 more police officers on the streets during overnight hours.
All we are doing actually is having the current resources we have working overtime and working extended hours. It's not having additional resources or additional community-based or intelligence-gathering officers that we need.
While there's division over whether any of the proposed solutions, such as a handgun ban, could even work, there is widespread agreement that something drastic has to be done. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
A handgun ban certainly wouldn't be the first effort to try to get weapons off the streets. The long gun registry is what Bill C-36 is remembered for, but the 1995 Act also outlawed some smaller weapons. According to Stats Canada, the percentage of gun murders committed with handguns is rising. In the mid-1970s, about 2/3 were committed with shotguns and rifles, 1/3 with handguns. 40 years later, that ratio has reversed.
Canada is joining other countries in demanding the release of 2 journalists who've been sent to prison in Myanmar. They were investigating the government's brutal crackdown on Rohingya Muslims. And as the CBC's Nala Ayed reports, the story they told is true, and the punishment for revealing that truth has been severe.
Their unprecedented exodus spoke of the enormity of the crisis. Their stories told of the unspeakable suffering. Not as well documented is the extent of the brutality. Reuters journalists inside Myanmar offered one disturbing glimpse: the anatomy of a massacre in Indin village, ending with a mass grave for 10, long before a UN panel said the military brass should be prosecuted for genocide. 2 of the journalists were already in custody when their shocking piece was published.
I really want to back to the newsroom. I'm a journalist. I never do anything wrong, so I try to be strong.
From the start, Ja So-u and Wa Lon believed they'd been set up. A policeman invited them to a restaurant, then handed them documents. As they left, they were arrested and later charged under the Official Secrets Act. The officer who corroborated their version in court is also now in prison. Even so, today the judge sentenced the journalists to 7 years in prison.
Today's verdict is very disappointing. It's bad for our country, Myanmar. It's bad for democracy. It's bad for the rule of law. And it's bad for the freedom of expression.
And to critics, these 2 men are political prisoners.
This is sending a signal to the rest of the Myanmar reporters that if you cross the military, if you cross the government, they can make your life a living hell.
A living hell, too, for their families. The head of Reuters is calling on the Myanmar government to act.
We really think this is the time for the Myanmar government to intervene, to recognize that this is an injustice, and to correct it. It's no longer in the court system, and it can be corrected. And we hope that they do that, and they do that very quickly.
It's the same message from abroad, including from a, quote, profoundly disappointed Canada. The court ruling, said a statement, is a betrayal of the struggle for democracy, a struggle once identified with Myanmar's leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. Nala Ayed, CBC News, London.
Now, the Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi, once a political prisoner herself, is the target of some of the renewed outrage in the wake of the sentencing because of her silence and her inaction. These sentences mark a new low for press freedom and some further backsliding of rights under Aung San Suu Kyi's government, says Human Rights Watch. In the years since the Rohingya crisis began, estimates vary on the number of people killed. Officially, Myanmar says 400 people have died, but one report puts the number of dead or missing at 43,000. The majority of the Rohingya now live in what's become the world's largest refugee camp, a temporary home for 700,000 people in neighboring Bangladesh. The government of that country has no plans to integrate them into the local population. Turning to Russia now, where President Vladimir Putin took on a brand new role this weekend, one that gives him something in common with his U.S. counterpart. Both Putin and Trump are leaders of major world powers. Both are notoriously strong-willed, and both now share something else: experience as reality TV stars. Chris Brown explains from Moscow.
By its very nature, Russian state TV's purpose is to gush about President Vladimir Putin. But even for the Kremlin, the new TV series Moscow, Kremlin, Putin takes that glorification to a new level. Episode 1 features him crisscrossing the country. How can he keep such a schedule? It's a marathon, exudes the reporter. And yet, he keeps such a beautiful form, adds the host. Then there's a visit with kids in Sochi. Putin loves children, says the host. You can't fake that. It's not just the kids he loves, chimes in his press secretary. He just loves people in general. And apparently animals, too. Footage from his mountain visit to the Tiva region was released last week, but there's yet more of the visit in this program. Mountain goats would normally run away from people, but with Putin, they stayed close, said his press secretary. They must have accepted him, joked someone else in the group. And what about more dangerous animals, like bears? Not to worry. Is a bear an idiot? No. If a bear sees Putin, he'll behave decently, of course. All day, independent journalists such as Dmitry Kolizev have been trying to hold back their chuckles.
It really looks like Soviet propaganda, but today is not 1930s or 1970s. Today is 2018, and I think that people can't take it seriously. It's really funny.
One reason for the sycophantic treatment may be that Putin's popularity has taken a hit of late. His ratings have tumbled from around the usual 80% to closer to 50%. As a result of his plans to raise the retirement age, weekend protests drew tens of thousands, though none of that, of course, was mentioned in the show.
I think that they still think that TV show can help and solve all their problems.
Still, if the aim was to humanize Putin, one big thing was missing: not a word about his family or personal life. That was kept as secretive as ever. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
So Vladimir Putin is a master of messaging, both inside and out of the country, and he and his diplomatic corps have been busy signaling to the rest of the world that something serious might just be about to happen in Syria. Some of the messages are strange, including this one from the Russian embassy this week. A tweet claiming there's about to be a staged chemical attack in Idlib, a hoax. English-speaking foreign specialists have arrived in Syria to attempt staging chlorine chemical attack, it read. In reality, these images are from a pro-Syrian government movie funded by the Syrian regime about a foreign journalist faking chemical weapons attacks along with terrorists. So what's really happening here? Well, Idlib in northwestern Syria is the last place largely held by the opposition. Yes, there are about 10,000 jihadist fighters there, but also nearly 3 million trapped civilians desperate for safety. Now, the UN and others are really worried the Russian-backed Syrian regime is about to attack Idlib. That's why Russia's tweets are raising eyebrows. As is news of a massive Russian military buildup in the Mediterranean, the biggest since it first intervened in 2015. And tonight, U.S. President Donald Trump is paying attention, tweeting out a warning against any offensive in Idlib.
We're watching several other developing stories live on the National tonight, including the latest on a deadly blast in South Africa. It happened at this munitions facility near Cape Town this afternoon. Witnesses saw a huge fireball from several kilometers away. Not clear yet what happened, but fire officials say at least 8 people have been killed. And we're keeping a close watch on the U.S. Gulf Coast. Tropical storm Gordon lashing parts of Florida today with torrential rains and winds of up to 95 kilometers an hour. But now it's making its way across the Gulf. It's picking up power, and it could reach hurricane strength by the time it hits Louisiana tomorrow.
Still ahead on the National, a young mother works to make every moment special after her daughter is diagnosed with a rare terminal form of cancer. Their moving story is tonight's national documentary.
And with legalization around the corner, industries are figuring out how to respond, even on the links.
Yeah, I think it helps my game out, that's for sure.
It is bothersome to some people, like myself. I have asthma.
I don't know why you'd want to, honestly. But if anybody did, I suppose, who cares?
Good evening, I'm Knowlton Nash. On News Magazine tonight, a tense week in Israel as Prime Minister Begin struggles to hold together a government shaken by the Palestinian issue. We'll have that story later. But there also was disappointing news from Canada today for Begin. Prime Minister Clark announced Canada would not move our embassy to Jerusalem. That move had been an election promise, and it may have won some close races in heavily Jewish ridings. The promise remained firm after the election, firm until the storm of Arab protests and threats. Former Conservative leader Bob Stanfield was sent to the Middle East, and his recommendation, don't move the embassy. Today, Clark changed his mind, agreed with Stanfield, and said the embassy would not be moved.
His mandate, sir, Mr. Stanfield was asked for a recommendation on the implementation of our policy on Jerusalem in a way that would be compatible with the efforts that are being made to achieve a comprehensive peace settlement in the Middle East. As a result of extensive consultation, Mr. Stanfield has concluded that a change in the location of the Canadian Embassy in Israel could be seen as prejudging negotiations among parties in the Middle East and might in fact work against progress towards a just and lasting peace settlement. Sir, the purpose of this government is to encourage that peace. Consequently, the government accepts the recommendation that no action be taken on the location of the Canadian Embassy until the status of Jerusalem is clarified within a comprehensive agreement between Israel and its Arab neighbors. We look forward, sir, to receiving Mr. Stanfield's final report so that the government might consider other matters involving our relations with the Middle East.
That's News Magazine for tonight. I'm Knowlton Nash, and for Ann Medina in Tel Aviv and myself, good night.
If you're a golfer, how do you feel about people using cannabis on the course? That's a question the golf industry is grappling with ahead of legal marijuana. And as Renee Filipponi tells us, the answer may depend in part on how old you are.
Labor Day on the links, a relaxing experience for some. And the game could get even more laid back if you could puff before you putt. For some, it's a great idea.
I think so. It's a nice place out of the neighborhoods, and yeah, I think it helps my game out, that's for sure.
But not everyone is teed up to it.
It is bothersome to some people, like myself. I have asthma.
I don't know why you'd want to, honestly. But if anybody did, I suppose, who cares? That's their issue.
Private golf courses are some of the few places where people can drink and smoke in public. Even some pros light up. Now Canadian courses will need to decide if pot will be part of play.
I think it's important for the golf courses to define what the roles and responsibilities.
BC's Golf Association has surveyed thousands of its members about marijuana. It found more than half of those under the age of 35 say they plan to smoke weed on the links. But only 1 in 10 over the age of 55 will light up.
They have some concerns about being paired with somebody that's smoking marijuana on the golf course.
This isn't just a conversation happening here on fairways in BC. The National Association for Golf Course Owners say policies need to be in place for staff and golfers once pot becomes legal.
You'd have to make sure that you're actually enforcing it properly.
This lawyer says there are a number of health and safety concerns to factor in, but says an outright ban on marijuana could be problematic.
You might be perceived as being discriminatory, treating one group of people as in a more preferential manner than another group when both substances are legal, when you look at alcohol and cannabis.
With little more than a month till marijuana is legal, the clock is ticking to make decisions about whether the experience on the greens could get a little greener. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Vancouver.
Still ahead on the National, is Calgary ready for its first autonomous public vehicle? We'll find out in our moment of the day.
But first, the intimate story of a young mother dealing with her daughter's difficult diagnosis, terminal cancer. Together, they are working through a bucket list of the best of times.
I swear I didn't fall in love with your hair.
It's been nice to see her smile and laugh and be herself and giddy. Because it's a kid I didn't see for a while there.
What's up, everyone? My name is Leonard Monkman. Today we're in Winnipeg's North End. It's the neighborhood that I grew up in. We're going to take you to a barbershop that's owned by an Indigenous woman on Selkirk Avenue.
Hi, my name is Skeeter. Welcome to my barbershop.
Oh, the North End means a lot to me because this is where all my friends and family live, and it's a beautiful part of the city.
What do you like about living in the North End, Peter?
Feels like home.
Feels like home.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here without my community if the people didn't come to support the shop. I wouldn't make it here.
What are some things that you like about the North End since you've been living here?
I guess, my street, Alfred, it's fairly quiet. Unfortunately, there was that shooting of the young guy last, 6-8 months ago or something like that. Yeah. Unfortunate. But all in all, actually I've been getting to know my neighbors a little bit more. My neighbor gave my little girl the tricycle that she has, and
they recommended you to come here?
Yeah.
What'd they say?
Yeah, they just said, I said, where's a good place to get a haircut? She ran back inside, and Mom told her, and said, come here, they're pretty good, so.
It's your first time here?
Yeah, they gave me directions like native way.
Which is how.
That's it, eh?
What made you start up a business in the North End?
Probably because of there's a lot of Aboriginal people around here. And I like working with my people. They like that the language can be spoken, because a lot of times, a lot of people will sit here and speak the language, and they like that. But you know what?
Do you like the cat? Do you remember shopping when you were a kid on Selkirk Avenue?
Yeah. Red apple and all that, yeah.
Tell us a story about shopping on Selkirk.
Skipping school to go shopping, my mom, that story.
Things that you see that might give you hope about this community.
Well, maybe the school's opening up in the area. And there's some businesses that are starting to open up.
For maybe about 10 years, I lived in the North End here and never had any problems,
How would you describe the people of the North End?
It varies, There's some good and some bad, It all depends. It's usually the younger people that get influenced by the bad elements of people. They get led in the wrong direction right off the bat before they even get a chance to choose what they want to be. Yeah, they don't get free haircuts, I think. Big much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. I'll be back.
Bye.
Well, we just wanted to say thank you for letting us join you today. Hopefully it wasn't too much, but
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
For choosing us.
Okay, well, we'll see you later.
Okay, we'll see you again. Thanks.
Is the cat's not going to run away?
No.
The National is bringing you a series on young Canadians suddenly faced with life-changing circumstances. So tonight, an Alberta mother in her early 20s does whatever she can to brighten the days of her daughter, Janaya, who has a rare and frankly insidious cancer. DIPG strikes a couple dozen Canadian children each year. Unfortunately, no one has ever survived. Since Janaya was diagnosed last January, her mother, Amanda, has been working on a bucket list to make every last moment count. So we now give you a portrait of her wishes for Janaya.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you more.
I love you more.
When I was 15 years old, I got pregnant, and it was scary, and I didn't want babies young.
1, 2, 3.
And then when I was 16, she was born, and it just kind of gave a new purpose. Made everything seem a lot brighter.
But the guy I'm watching right now is super funny. I like him.
Throughout the pregnancy is when it really hit me, like, wow,
Yes, I know.
this is gonna be good. This is gonna be cool. And
Because you wear makeup all the time.
what does that have to do with that? We're gonna grow up together, and then when we're older, we're gonna go and experience everything together. We can experience all of this together, and then we're gonna be adults together. You know, have a lifelong companion to do things with. DIPG is a rare form of cancer that grows out of the brainstem, and it is incurable and has no known treatments to get rid of it, only radiation to buy you time. How much time is unknown.
How many fingers am I holding up?
1.
Okay, and then what about the other way?
1.
Okay, perfect. You look up
1.
and down.
1.
Perfect. Can you close your eyes really tight? Don't let me open them. Good job. Okay, show me.
Nobody survived it. Ever. Ever. It's a heavy weight.
All right.
Not one. Not even one. People go into remission, it stops growing for a bit, it always comes back. It always comes back worse, more aggressive.
Awesome. Good. Now, do you find that you're sometimes when you're going to reach for things, do you still have a little bit of a shake in your hands?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Well, the worst part about it is, because it's in the back, it's back here growing out of the brainstem right at the base. The worst part about it is, it doesn't affect any of your mental cognizance. Like you're still there, your mental awareness is all there. You're still you, but you're not, because this is taking away your ability to walk, your ability to eat, your ability to speak, your ability to see. So you lose pieces of yourself, but you remain aware of it. And that's probably the hardest part of it. It's not knowing that, you know, this is happening, because I mean, that's already hard enough, but it's knowing that it's gonna take pieces of her in the worst kind of way. And there's nothing I can do about it. So what did you scratch off under the other one that could go there?
Beaches.
So the day we found out on the 1st, Jay went back into the room and said, you know, write down everything you want to do this year. And she started writing stuff down, and then over time she kind of thought of a couple more things over the next couple days, so we added them in. Yeah, that turned into the bucket list that it is now, written on that pink piece of paper. To me, the bucket list is memories and seeing her smile and seeing that joy and getting my lifetime of fill in a shorter amount of time.
Guys, cheer on a tiny little bit. Woo! Oh, good job. Keep going, keep going. Awesome. 3, 2, 1, let go. She looks like a
I'm trying to embed the memory in my brain so that it's always there, and wanting to make sure I never forget it. You know, the sound of her voice or the sound of her laughing. Looking at her and wondering what she'd look like when she's older. It keeps me in the light, keeps me focusing on something other than the future. Because the future doesn't look so happy, so it's nice to focus on something happy right now, rather than focusing on, you know, a couple years down the road, if we do it again, she won't be there.
Much, you won't be doing that. I'll be doing that for you. But that's if you need to move and I'm not around, you can move yourself. Also, if you go like this, you turn and go backwards, you can turn yourself this way. Awesome, eh?
I'll be in this all the time.
Yeah. Or tall, long prefer. So let me see how these are adjusted, because I think it might.
Well, I have to be in the wheelchair the whole time.
Let me guess, was this foot much more comfortable than that foot?
Janae! Get out of here. Yay, Janae! No! 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 Hey, Jesus. Stop making me laugh!
The hard part is because it's just been me and her. I've had to start thinking about what it's gonna be like. It's even hard to say it, damn. I've had to start thinking about what it's gonna be like when she's not around. Preparing myself for the quiet. And not waking up to her every morning. Beautiful. What do you think?
Good.
Good? I think it's gorgeous. Here, let's put some highlighter. Get you all sparkly and shiny. Let's see. Sparkly. Perfect. What do you think?
Good.
Good? Mm-hmm. I think you're beautiful. Good?
Could rise and greet with a warm round of applause one of the most amazing souls I've ever met in my life. Please make welcome my near and dear friend, Janae. Come on out here, sweetheart. I didn't fall in love with your hair. Here or gone, girl, I really don't care. The heart that's inside you is why I stopped and stared. I swear I didn't fall in love with your hair.
It's been nice to see her smile and laugh and be herself and giddy. Because it's a kid I didn't see for a while there. It probably took her about almost 2 months to really come back and be herself and be vivacious and lively and funny and sassy and unapologetically her.
Janae, with everybody here, we wish you nothing but the best in beating cancer, in living an amazing life with your family and this community that supports you. Thank you for being here, and we all love you. This one's for Janae, everybody.
So we caught up with the family on Facebook as the next wish for Janaea comes true. They flew to Japan, they caught some of the sights, but the real goal was a visit to Aoshima, also called Cat Island, because there the cats outnumber the people. And if the pictures are anything to go by, it went over very well. Our series is called Seen and Heard, and it features the work of filmmaker Kitra Kahana. She and her team tell intimate stories by gaining access to their subjects. You'll see more of those stories on The National on Sunday nights this fall. Here's a taste.
It's easy ignoring these people because there's no voice. Because the people that have the voice are too tired to raise their voices.
Just because you can't see somebody doesn't mean they don't exist, doesn't mean they don't have feelings, doesn't mean you can connect with them. They're still very human like you.
I always felt like for some reason I felt like I was alone. I felt the darkness made me lost. I wasn't able to find my way until I saw Marley and I found her. And it gave me something to go to.
Yeah, if I can't be around people who make me feel validated and actually see me for who I am, then I don't exist. Being a black trans person in this world can be really, really lonely.
Making healing music heals me, and it heals people around me, and they need it. They need someone to let them know it's gonna be okay.
I've had to start thinking about what it's going to be like. It's even hard to say it down. I've had to start thinking about what it's going to be like when she's not around.
This is the Korean Peninsula, a 1,000-kilometer strip of land that people have been fighting over for centuries. Split into two countries, it's home to an estimated 75 million people, 25 million in the north and 50 million in the south. But it hasn't always been like this. So how did we get two Koreas, and why is this area such a flashpoint? It's all about location. Located between China and Russia to the north and Japan to the south, it's a strategic peninsula for a number of reasons, like controlling key trading routes and as a potential staging ground for attacks. Not surprisingly, China, Russia, Japan, and the US have all exerted their influence over Korea at one time or another, sparking a number of conflicts. By the turn of the 20th century, after 2,000 years of primarily Chinese control, Japan formally annexed Korea in August 1910. Japanese rule was harsh. Even today, there's a lingering bitterness toward Japan. Japan's hold on Korea ended with the Second World War when it surrendered to the Allies. Korea was temporarily split at that 38th parallel until an independent and unified Korean government could be established. And in the meantime, the Soviet Union would control the north with the US in control of the south. Why the 38th parallel? Well, because a pair of pressed-for-time U.S. officers chose it arbitrarily from a National Geographic map. So the two Koreas were born, with UN plans for fair and democratic elections for both. But that didn't happen. In the north, Soviet-backed Kim Il-sung, he's the grandfather of this guy, set up a brutal communist dictatorship, while in the south, the US backed a fierce anti-communist, Syngman Rhee, and the US military pulled out. At this point, the Cold War was in its third year. Both leaders claimed sovereignty over the entire peninsula. Then Kim, with Mao and Stalin's support and Soviet arms, attempted to unify Korea by force, thus starting the Korean War. Northern troops crossed the 38th parallel and with no US soldiers to help repel them, quickly cornered the South. But the Americans came back, leading a UN coalition that also included some 26,000 Canadians to push the North back. They did, and advanced, taking the northern capital, Pyongyang. This was uncomfortably close for the Chinese, so China joined the North Korean effort, helped stop the UN advance, and push coalition forces back behind that dividing line. This back and forth continued. After 3 years and more than 2 million people killed, including 516 Canadians, the war hit a stalemate. An armistice agreement was signed, leaving that dividing line pretty much where it started. A side note, an armistice is not the same as a peace treaty, so technically the two countries are still at war. Today, the North and South are separated by this, a 4-kilometer wide stretch known as the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone. A misnomer, because actually it's the world's most militarized border. Today, 7 decades later, the truce still holds, but the region is in a chronic state of tension. As for South Korea, 2018 opened with signs of a possible short-term thaw between Seoul and Pyongyang. Both sides agreed to talks, and the North said it would participate in the South's Olympic Winter Games. But as the past has shown, tempers can flare and talks can end suddenly, with both countries returning to their old positions. The geopolitics are obviously complex.
On the National Tonight, Nike is taking on one of the most divisive issues in sport with its latest Just Do It campaign. That is ex-NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick with the words, "Believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything." A reference to this, Kaepernick kneeling during the anthem, a protest he says is against racial injustice, but some, including the president, consider the conduct unpatriotic. Not surprising, the ad is getting sharply divided reaction. Cheered by some, athletes need to stand for something these days. Collective activism will achieve so much. Respect to you, Colin, well deserved. Should probably just have my direct deposit sent to Nike because that's basically where all my money will be going. But then there are those vowing things like never buying Nike ever again. Too bad. Made an anti-American decision. Hope their sales plummet. Some are even destroying their Nike gear, like this person who says, "Peace out, Nike. Another Marine and American cutting you out." Also tonight, The New Yorker has uninvited Steve Bannon to its annual festival just hours after the magazine revealed a former Trump advisor would be a featured guest. Several celebrities said they wouldn't attend because of Bannon. The editor-in-chief says that he changed his mind after receiving harsh criticism. Bannon responded by calling him gutless. And in British Columbia, an arrest warrant has been issued for an inmate who escaped a prison east of Vancouver. Michael Douglas Sheets is serving 14 years for an arson that killed 2 children. Guards realized he was gone after a routine check. He escaped from another prison in BC 3 years ago. And also in BC, a young killer whale that scientists have been fighting to save has been spotted alive after researchers had lost track of her. The orca, known as J50, has been struggling to keep up with her pod and got separated 2 days ago somewhere off the BC coast. Now they know she's okay, and scientists are going to try to give her another shot of antibiotics with a dart. How far would you go for the perfect steak? An Alberta restaurant owner and a farmer have teamed up in that quest. They've purchased a prize-winning $80,000 black Angus bull specifically to breed with their beef cows. As Aaron Collins tells us, it's a unique opportunity to get ahead of the competition in a place where beef is king.
From gate to plate, it's long been shorthand for the story of how the meat we eat gets to our table. And it's usually a tale about how cattle are raised, but at this ranch, the story starts a little earlier.
So modern breed, any heifers this morning?
We got a few covered.
Now, this bull has been chosen specifically to breed with these heifers to make the ultimate steak.
He is the #1 marbling bull in the country. And so what that is going to do is essentially give us a higher quality grade of beef more consistently.
A bull with a pedigree and a name to match. Benchmark Modern Steak was purchased for more than $80,000 2 years ago in partnership with the Calgary Steakhouse. The idea used genetics to pair the perfect bull and the perfect heifer to create the perfect steak.
All right, Mike, what's in this tank? So this is one of our semen tanks. So this will hold about 600 to 750 units of semen. Each unit of semen, or we call a straw, will then give the possibility to impregnate one animal.
This is literally what goes into making the best steak. Well, it takes patience to get the other side of this story. It's about 2 years before all that beef arrives at this Calgary steakhouse.
So this is what makes the best steak in Alberta. All this fat, intermuscular. This is why this is prime grade beef.
Now, buying a bull is a big investment of time and money, a gamble aimed at producing perfectly marbled meat for this restaurant for years to come.
Fat is what gives you that rich flavor. It implies tenderness. It does all these things. So we wanted to buy the bull that is giving you those qualities.
Now, Deere says it's unusual for a steakhouse to own its own bull, but 2 years on, he says he can taste the benefits.
Well, I'll follow your lead, I guess, back here.
Yeah, that's my favorite piece. Amazing.
Proof that the quest for the perfect steak can be a long one, lasting from conception to consumption. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Okay, so many Torontonians mark the end of their summer, the unofficial end anyway, by watching the air show at the CNE. It is the best spot to watch the fighter jets go by. Not always easy to get a good picture, but have a look at this. Jeff Clark of the Toronto Police Marine Unit got a shot that surely stands out from the rest. So we had to ask, how did he do that?
I was on the water, and I was southwest of Hanlon's Point, and I was on a boat. I could see the airplanes heading over towards the CN Tower. So what I had done, I was using a Nikon camera with a 200 to 500 lens. And what I had done is I had locked focus on the planes as they were approaching the CN Tower with my intentions of getting the shot when they got to the CN Tower, hoping I would get a good shot. So as they approached the CN Towers, the CN Tower started to come into frame. I started taking repetitive shots, and I got about four shots. They were halfway between me and the CN Tower, which means they were over top of the island airport. That's how far they were away from the CN Tower. So they were nowhere close. The photo makes it look like they're close. To try to get that actual position on the CN Tower was actually pure luck. Maybe a tiny bit of skill, that's about it. If I had tried to go get that same photo today, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. I carry my camera pretty much everywhere with me, so it's something I enjoy doing. I've enjoyed doing it for years, and it's just a passion. Fortunately, for my luck, I guess one of the perfect pictures.
Later this week, people in Calgary will get a chance to take a spin in an autonomous vehicle. So, are they ready for the ride? That is tonight's moment.
With all new technologies, people tend to be a little bit critical. And then also I think there's an element of losing control. So people like to be behind the wheel, and in this you're letting something else take over.
Oscar 19, Jasper, Oscar 19. I don't know if you copied, but there's a large bear jam developing just past Moline Canyon. If you guys could go and take a look at that, that'd be great.
Wildlife Guardian 1, Oscar 16. Jasper is an amazing place to view wildlife. Actually, we are very lucky. We have a very high density of animals that comes to the side of the road because it's open and there's nice green vegetation there. In the spring and when the buffalo berries are ripe, there's definitely more wildlife jams that we attend.
He's traveling in that direction, so we just ask people not to stop like that. If you want to see it, feel free to pull over, take a quick photo and keep moving, but remain in your car, please. Okay, thanks.
People will stop, and quite often they forget that they're on the main highway, they need to pull over. So they will stop in the middle of the road, leave all doors open, and run toward the bear. So it's a highway, it might be like 90 kilometers per hour, so it's very dangerous.
It's right there, actually. You can see the branches moving. After a few photos, if you can keep moving, that would be awesome. Thanks. And please stay in your vehicle. Yeah.
We ask people to remain in their car at all time and not to chase the animal into the forest. So really remain in your car. That's the safest thing for you and for the animal as well. Because there's a lot of consequences to our action. Every interaction an animal has with people, they learn from it. And with time, they will learn that it is okay to approach people to look for food. And this is when it becomes more at risk for them to get into the campgrounds, the town sites, and after that, well, we are more at risk to get dangerous encounters. Also, we ask people not to feed animal, never to feed animal, because most of the time, well, an animal that gets fed will have to be destroyed because they start to associate people to food, and their behavior is going to change. They're going to be more aggressive, and it's too risky for the safety of the visitors and the people living in the park. So we are trying to give the same opportunity to everyone. So yeah, you had a very good look. So if you can keep moving, that would be awesome. Thank you, appreciate. Yeah. Wildlife guardian job can be super fun or very frustrating because you see the same thing happening over and over again, and people doing that job, they care a lot about the animals. So there's times where you get people yelling at you and being pretty mad, and other times where just people thank you and are so grateful and they want to learn. So those moments where people are really genuinely interested and they want to learn more about the animals of the park and their learn about their behavior and what they can do to help us protect them. I mean, those moments are amazing, and that makes it all worth it.
Of hopes and fears, of sensations and excitements, awaited those who had the courage to go forth into its expanse, to seek real knowledge of life amidst its perils.
On season 2 of The Great Canadian Baking Show...
It's all or muffin.
Nope.
Yes.
Don't think so. Didn't work.
No. Season 2 of The Great Canadian Baking Show is coming.
You better believe it.
I'm so sorry, Canada.
Take 21. The Great Canadian Baking Show is back.
And it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely not. Yikes.
I give up.
The Great Canadian Baking Show returns this September on CBC.
Fantastic.
Presented with Robin Hood. The magic's in the making.
Well, there aren't many Canadians who can say they've had a ride in a driverless vehicle, but starting later this week, people in Calgary will be able to join that elite club for free. So what can passengers expect when they hit the road? That is our moment of the day.
This is really helping us explore what the future could look like.
Meet Ella, the driverless vehicle making history in Calgary. The ride only lasts about 3.5 minutes, but what Ella lacks in speed, it makes up for in innovation. Luckily, Ella doesn't have to deal with obstacles like other cars or pedestrians, but if something did get in its path, well, that's where LiDAR is supposed to come in. With pulsing laser lights, the vehicle can detect when something is in its way and hit the brakes. So not exactly a wild ride, but if passengers are still a little nervous...
We want to make sure that the vehicle is operating in a safe condition, and we have an operator on there to take care of the passenger safety.
Okay, so Ella looks a little top-heavy. I'm slightly concerned about that. This is part of a pilot project. It's also being tested in Quebec, and I don't know, it seems a little slow. I know you could run faster than young Ella.
Yeah, even you, old Ian, could run faster than young Ella. I listened to a fascinating radio documentary in the States about driverless vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and there are all kinds of challenges they're trying to work through with those. Maybe Ella will have these as well. Something as simple as a plastic bag being blown across its path is something that it's hard to teach a driverless car to deal with. So we'll see how the experiment goes, but I think both of us would like to take a ride.
Oh, you can go
Ella
first.
while that's still available. Okay. That is the National for September 3rd. Good night.